It is the Y2K Collector. It's been a long time since I've gone live. I'm not going to take too much time because I have a really small window here, but I did want to take a moment just to kind of give a quick live 2 month update with what's been going on with me, with the family. I dropped a post the other day, and a few of you reached out and said that um, you were wondering where I was at and what's been going on, and so I felt like I owed it to the longtime faithfuls, the longtime subscribers of the channel, those who have hung around during this time of silence from me. So I figured I'd come here on a cool Friday night to just kind of give a quick update and recap with what's going on with me um, and what you can expect out of the channel. So, first off, I just want to kind of just break down what's occurred, in the last few months. So, as many of you know, I sold a huge chunk of my collection, and I basically sold my entire collection. And a lot of you were wondering, well, like Y2K, why'd you do it? What's going on? And the short answer to all of that is that I did it because I knew that my family and I were going to be moving, and we did move. We moved from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and we are now stationed completely on the other side of the country. So we went from one major city, which is basically, the New York City tri-state area, to now the Southern California, Los Angeles area. And so we are just kind of in a big transition. I've been gone off the channel just because I don't know if how many of you have ever done a move like that, but doing a big move like that just requires a lot of concentration. It requires a lot of focus. It takes a lot of energy. And especially when you have kids, like when you have small children, getting them enrolled in school, getting them used to living in a place that they've never been to before. For those of you who are on the East Coast and you know what the East Coast is like, when you leave the East Coast and you move to the West Coast, if you've never like been to the West Coast or lived on the West Coast, it's a huge, huge change. It's a huge culture shock. And so I've had to spend the past couple months just guiding my family through that. Right before I left New York, I stumbled upon some video games, and I told myself these would be the games that I would use to rebuild the collection, which we'll get to the games in a second, but I just kind of wanted to give the faithfuls pretty much just the recap of what's been going on with me. So I think I told you guys before kind of going silent that major changes were coming. Well, that is one of the major changes. We are no longer East Coast folks. We are now officially West Coast folks. So I'm pretty sure at some point I'll be running into all of the big time Southern California gaming channel guys at some swap meet or flea market or something. Because one of the things that is definitely different about Southern California is that there are a lot more yard sales and there are a lot more swap meets. So that is definitely something that I'll be taking advantage of now that I'm on this side of the country. I'm gonna try and drop an edited video this weekend, just recapping the move. But one of the things I can say right off the bat is that the Game Stops out here, from what I've seen so far, are definitely not as good as the Game Stops on the East Coast. I'm sorry, and I think there's a reason for that. One of the things that I noticed in just being out here is that the retro video game scene, like the retro gaming collectors, are a lot more pronounced and they're a lot more diehard. They make themselves known. They're very just out there. There's no hiding it. Whereas, like in the East Coast, like in New York, I don't think folks on the East Coast, like there's as many like diehard retro collectors like that. They're just not. And if there are out there, they are not as like pronounced. Most of the Game Stops that I've gone to so far since I've been out here, I mean, I've ran into just so many diehard retro collectors and retro gamers that I could see why like retro game hunting at a GameStop in Southern California can be really rough. Now again, on the flip side of that is there are a lot more yard sales out here and there are a lot more swap meets and flea markets out here. And I think that's kind of where you can, where it balances out. So I'll probably do more videos of that, just showing you guys my experiences with that. But yeah, that is the big, big reason as to why Y2K has gone silent. Just a huge transition for my family and I. We're excited to be here. Yes, I'm doing this live from the floor of my office because we literally are still unpacking all of our stuff. Like we haven't unpacked everything, so we're still in transition. David Mateos 687 says, "I'll see you at SoCal Gaming GameCon in Pasadena, brother. I'm gonna be a vendor there." Oh, nice, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, these are the cool things that I'll get to be a part of. Obviously, now that I'm on the West Coast, I've never been to SoCal Gaming Expo, so now that I'm here, I do plan on going to that. So that'll be fun. Cat's Tongue says microtransactions suck. I agree, microtransactions do suck. So anyway, before I left, there were Crash. What's going on? So before I left New York, there were a few games I picked up, some last minute games. These are all complete in box. I'm not gonna open them up. But Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube, Shadow the Hedgehog for the PlayStation 2, Maximo Ghost Glory for the PlayStation 2, Sonic Gems Collection for the GameCube, and Guardian Legend on the NES. For those of you who follow me, you'll also know that I picked up a mint copy of Bomberman for the Sega Saturn. But my collecting strategy is going to be very, very different. Very, very different. For one thing, there's two main libraries that I plan on rebuilding first as I rebuild my collection. The first one is my Sega Genesis and Sega CD collection. That's really what I'm going for right now. I'm really going to be gunning for to get certain games that I had in my collection back. So like Lords of Thunder is one that I'm going for. Android Assault, Bari Arm is another one that I'm going for. Robo Alesti, Popful Mail, just some of those Sega CD games. Sega Genesis stuff is definitely what I'm going for. Sega Saturn as well. The Sega part of my collection is what I'm going to start working on as I get back into it. Also, now that I'm in a more scenic place like Southern California, I'm definitely going to be getting back into photography and film. So I brought a bunch of my cameras with me here. So definitely going to be diving into a bunch of that. But yeah, it's just going to be a lot of catching up. The edited videos are going to be tough to produce because I am, like I said, me and my family, we're still in transition. And transition is tough. It's super tough, but it's exciting. I can't tell you guys enough how excited we are to be at this phase and in this chapter of our journey. And I do plan on bringing you guys along Crash says, bro, we live. Dude, it's 11:42 p.m. in Louisiana. Yeah, what time is it on the East Coast? I think on the East Coast, it's almost 1 o'clock there, probably. Yeah. And I think the majority of my viewers are on the East Coast. So most of you guys are probably in bed. You saw my videos. I have not seen your videos, Crash Zero, just because I haven't been on here that much. I haven't been able to join any lives. I haven't really been able to really look at anything, see what anyone has going on. But I just wanted to jump on here real quick. Didn't want to take too much time. Just wanted to update the Y2K crew, let you guys know what's been going on with me. That is the big thing. The big thing is the move. You know, moving from New York to LA has been crazy. It's just been crazy. Getting my family and kids used to this is been crazy. So more to come. Car Karak Waper says, "Hey mate, 4:45 p.m. in Sydney. Dang, you guys are watching from Sydney? Thanks. I really want to go to Australia soon. Soon. I want to go to Australia. I want to take my kids to Melbourne and Sydney. So that sounds pretty exciting. But this is what I'll say before I go when it comes to what I'm noticing as I get back into collecting mode. Retro game prices are crazy right now. Like crazy right now. Um, and I know that it's not across the board. I know that not all retro game prices are crazy because prices have come down for a lot of the common stuff, like a lot of the mid stuff. But a lot of the really rare stuff that used to have is either like you can't find it or it's ridiculously expensive. So I know it's going to be a challenge, especially moving to a much more competitive area like Southern California, because game hunting is just way more competitive over here than it was, I think, where I was at. So there's definitely going to be some challenges with that. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to leverage the flea market, or I may just have to link up with Easy Gamers or something and figure out where he's at because it is going to be rough. It's going to be rough. But let me know what you guys have been up to. Like I said, I appreciate everyone who's been sticking around, everyone who's been, following the channel, following along. I know I've been gone, but I am slowly making my way back. I don't want to say I'm back yet. We're still unpacking, we're still settling in, we're still, getting our bearings. But as soon as we get fully settled in and I find a rhythm again, definitely more content to come. So until then, hopefully you guys are having a great evening and I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.